Welcome to Wanna Be a Pro Wrestler, and today's episode is not quite an episode. So, there are a lot of things in pro wrestling that you can be taught, and a lot of it comes in the ring, but a lot of what you can learn as a pro wrestler isn't in the ring. So, I began training, and I knew that being a Native American was kind of special in the regard to like, there's only 2% of the population of America, but I didn't consider what it really meant to be a Native American. And Sharky was always like, "Yeah, in 2 years, you're gonna be one of the most over baby faces of all time. You'll be able to travel wherever you want to." Just little stuff like that. Not verbatim. He didn't say that exactly, but he'd say that people would pay a lot of money to see a real Native American wrestle. And I guess I didn't really take that seriously as much as I thought I did. But also, I didn't want to perform as Tomahawk Kid initially, but I I couldn't come up with another name, and Greg said to do my trainer initially was looking to do Tomahawk Nix, and I actually like Nix, Nix. It's pretty cool, but I ended up going with Tomahawk Kid because the 1 2 3 kid, the HBK thing, and I didn't think I looked old. I'm 37 right now, so I'm not doing too bad for myself. You know what I mean? I look all right for 37. But that's not the main issue today. Today I want to discuss when to know when to not talk, right? It's a weird thing to word. It's hard to write a title, but sometimes you don't know when to shut up. And there are a lot of people who don't know when to shut up. And I'm kind of one of them. Oh man, I got that on there. I'm gonna remove my other one. You ain't supposed to be on there, Joe Mama. You're supposed to be removed. There. Got it. Anyway, I'll have to fix that later. Or not, I don't really care. But there are times in your career when you need to speak up, and Tomahawk Kid was one of the times I needed to speak up, and I needed to draw the lines in the sand, and I needed to be divisive, and I needed to say you're either with us or against us. But instead, I was a person, and I'm a nice person. And instead of drawing lines and saying, I don't care if you're not on my side, I was like, well, I'm on everybody's side because I could see both sides of the perspective as opposed to I'm right. I'm just straight up, I'm right. I believe it to this day. I'm right no matter what. You can't convince me otherwise that I couldn't have been Tomahawk Kid if I didn't choose to be. If I wanted to do it today, I would. Perfectly comfortable doing that. Entirely fine. Actually, I think some promoters would probably prefer if I did because some people stopped booking me afterwards. Hmm. Interesting that it's okay to book a racist gimmick, but it's not okay to be a racist gimmick. But the Usos are fine. It's fine. The Rock's family is fine. No, Rikishi, Andre the Giant, they're all related somehow, but no one knows. They're all cousins somehow, right? But no, not Native Americans. They can't be Native Americans. And those are some of the things I should have said. And I even mentioned it, but instead of mentioning it and sticking with my opinion and my perception of what I believe to be true, I just kind of let it boil up and then I let it slowly cool itself down by ignoring it or by changing. And I took a lot of time thinking about it. I talked to my mom. Don't talk to my mom about wrestling ever. And I talked to my family on the res. Even prior to this, I asked what their opinion of it was, and they said, whatever you can do to make a buck. That's pretty close to verbatim, to be honest. But I don't think they were still ever fans of it. I don't think that they were like, yep, he should do this. But I don't think that once I committed to it, they would have said that. There's like there's true way to tell if people support you or if they support the cause. And one of those things is that they supported me. My family supported me. And there were other people that would have supported the cause. And I'm getting ahead of myself. let's talk about the first person that should have not spoken up. Eminem. He did the thing with Trump. Eminem did this thing where he dropped a freestyle and basically said Trump, right? It's 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 pretty well documented, and he used, I'm gonna share my screen really quick, add Joe Mama back in here real quick, and these are the lyrics, so you can see, there, that's what I wanted, right here. You can see it right with my mouse. So he's seen his fan base shrink to thirds. That's because of all rappers, Eminem is white, and he had a lot of white supporters comparatively to other rappers. And I even mentioned the line in the sand, either you're with us or against us. And he did the same thing. And as a result, he felt he didn't sell as much. And he didn't say that he didn't do the right thing, which he even says right here, I was trying to do the right thing, but there we go. Uh, uh, uh. But he ends up even saying that he would at least maybe think about rewording the way he put it. And he's allowed the character growth to be expressed through his songs. And there are a lot of little things that I do that people might not realize that I stopped doing and that I continue to do. And all of the minute, fine details that Tomahawk Kid was a part of that made me a performer. And now that Nikki Heat is a performer, Nikki Heat does some of these things, but he also doesn't do some of the other stuff. And it's not just because I don't carry my stick. I still have it. I can bring it wherever I want to. I could run around outside. I don't care. But like, it isn't. It isn't something that always needs to be stated. It isn't something that has to always be brought up, because at a certain point I would sound like a broken drum if I was like, well, you know what? If Tomahawk Kid was around, and 3 years later they're like, dude, why are you still talking about this? But I don't talk about it, and I choose not to. I can talk about it whenever I want to, and I'm talking about it now for a real purpose, and it's knowing when to not talk, knowing when to shut your mouth. And the second person on the list, you're pretty familiar with. He might have had a hand in training a handful of people I know. It's Ken Anderson. He spoke out during the Benoit fiasco, and let's see if I can get the right part. He says, for some reason, I thought everyone in the world wanted to know what Ken Anderson thought about the Chris Benoit thing. And even at the time, he was getting like congratulated, and people were like, thank you for saying something, because it's not just that. But what happened afterwards? There were some other issues that came up about a steroid doctor or something. And as a result, he got suspended, and that would just slowly lead to everything else that happened for him. But not just this time with Ken and the issues and knowing when not to talk. And he shouldn't have talked, apparently, especially if he was already doing something bad. But it just was the way things work out isn't planned. You can't always plan that. But there's another thing that people don't realize what happened. There were a lot of people talking about the Academy School of Pro Wrestling and what's going on and why people aren't being messaged back, and that he ran away with the money. And I seen Ken at a show in Faribault, Minnesota, and I even asked him, I was like, hey, did you at least offer refunds to all the people that wanted their refunds back? He's like, yeah, the only person who wanted it was someone that wasn't even going to work for the next year and a half. And I was like, okay. I took him for his word. I I didn't care if other people were saying other things about the Academy. All I wanted to know is that if someone wanted to be a pro wrestler and things were miscommunicated or not communicated, they had the opportunity to get their money back. Okay. But at the time, there were a lot of Academy kids on the Reddit page, on the forums, on Facebook, and everyone had something to say about Ken all of a sudden. But I messaged a handful of people, and it wasn't, if I didn't reach out to you, it wasn't personal. It just was that I didn't know if you wanted me to say anything to you because I don't talk to you very much, and that's fine. I'm not mad about anything. But I reached out to a few people and I was like, hey, you know what to do. Keep your eyes open and your mouth shut. And in that regard, I just meant you don't have to go put yourself out there like Ken did in this situation with the Benoit thing. You don't have to go say, well, I've known Ken for 2 years and Ken is my best friend and I'll stand by him regardless, because I don't want people to stand by me if I'm being a piece of shit. If I'm being, as Kennedy puts it, an asshole. If I'm doing bad things and I'm ripping kids off, don't support me. If I'm taking advantage and misleading entirely in ways that are unprofessional, don't follow me. You can screen record this. I don't care. If I'm doing something weird or wrong like that, don't support me because I wouldn't deserve it. But Ken was our trainer. That's all it was. He's our trainer. It's a business relationship, if anything. I know his kids, but it's still a business relationship. I paid money to him. And that's all it was for the Academy, was to create the business relationship for me to get further in business. I don't know how many bookings Ken has gotten me, but it wasn't more than two. It might have been one that I had to fight for an extra $5 for. No, it was $20, $25, because Coda and Damon Spriggle remember. Paul remembers too. And maybe the other one. I forgot who it was. But we were promised a certain amount of money for 4 people at a rate of X. And we said, okay, if we bring a 5th person, is that okay? The promoter said yes. And when we got there, the promoter only gave us pay for 4. And I was like, no. I was a veteran, 2 years in. For some reason, I felt the right to stand up for myself for the extra. You want to know what it was? $25. 5-hour drive. We had to get there early to set up the ring. There early, set up the ring, and we wanted to drive home that night. We ended up staying in a hotel. But like, that's just not the way I wanted to do business. That was my perspective of it. And everyone else is like, Nick, are you serious? Nikki, are you serious about it's only $25? I'm like, yeah, but it's my $25. It's all of our $25. It's $5 less than what we would have gotten. And then that's not my fault that they tried to jip us. No, he to the promoter, he paid us the money. And he seemed like a nice guy. So no problem. But that was the one time that Ken might have gotten me booked on a show where I had to fight for $25, and I worked, I think I worked Coda, and he wanted me to do the Tomahawk Kid gimmick. That's actually the last time I wrestled as Tomahawk Kid, was at that venue. So, boom, full circle. I actually have an idea of what I'm doing a little bit. But if Ken is being an asshole or a piece of shit to people, or he's like pushing people down and he's trying to get himself booked on other stuff, I'm not going to support that. If Ari Daivari is doing the same thing, I wouldn't support that. I don't care. I don't have a loyalty to anyone. Maybe like 2 people. This guy might be one of them. I'll support him. I'd come help him. And maybe there aren't like people that you want to always come support, but maybe you want to help them figure out what they did wrong, right? So but the third thing that I wanted to bring up was what happened with me on Twitter. I I commented something a while back, and for some reason it came up in the middle of the night, like 4 months later, and all I was doing was making a statement on Twitter about pro wrestling, and I was like, nobody wants to see the Hurricane, or no one wants to see Gregory Helms. That's a fact. They only want the Hurricane. And maybe I meant in comparison, but you can't fit all those little details in there, and it's not a big deal for that. But look, I got 50 replies from this, or 50 likes to a hurricane for this. Like, I could comment on there, actually, if you knew what I meant, you'd be my favorite wrestler. Okay, bye. But like, I can just ignore it and it'll go away. And if it doesn't, I can block every single one of these people. I could. It's my mental health. Some people aren't prepared for this kind of like traction on their social media pages, and that's fine. And that's why it's important to know when to shut up. Because look, there are some on here that are actually really funny. Oh, this one's not funny, but Rob Zombie, bro. But there was one I wanted to highlight. I can't find it. It's not a big deal. Yes, it is. It's kind of really funny. So if you want to find it, I did like one of the comments on there. And I was like, stand back. There's an idiot coming through. I was like, that's hilarious. That's so funny. Because it was taken out of context of what I said. It was months ago. And not just that, but like, I look up to Hurricane and he didn't put me down. He put down this statement. I'm not attached to what I wrote. It wasn't like, this is my life's work. I can't believe he said it wasn't good. Like, it's just a comment. And he said that I missed the point of what he meant. And when I responded, it would seem like that. But I understood what he meant. You don't need what you have to get over. You can use plenty of other things to get over, and you can create new things to get over. Ash might be in here right now. But if you're not prepared to deal with social media like this, to where it happens and you get heat, it might not be for you right away. Have one, but you don't have to be doing it all the time because it's scary. People get hurt every day on social media and they don't see it until long after the fact. And that's an entirely different thing that we need to discuss another day. But there was another person on Facebook that said people who are new in the business don't need to be teaching other people pro wrestling. And I'm like, I could see that. I would agree with that 99% of the time, yeah. And was it directed at me? Maybe. He didn't tag me. He didn't ever message me privately to say anything. So, mm, if it is, it is. If it was, there's no heat. I agree with you. There's no reason I should be the one that has to talk about pro wrestling. I wish everyone else would do it. But guess what? You guys don't do shit. Not everybody's in the gym. Not everybody's on social media. Not everyone is trying to make money with pro wrestling. And guess what? I know how to make money with pro wrestling. I know how to be on social media with wrestling. I know how to actually be a pro wrestler and go to the gym, and I know how to eat healthily. And I'm happy with my life. I'm happy as shit with my life. I love my life. I love my family. I love my friends. They're actually intertwined. Anyone that's a friend is my family. I don't care. But there there are people that don't see that side, and they don't know if you're content with who you are, and they won't know if you're in a mental place that's not very well. Because if I was in a very not very well off place, I would have blocked him straight up, because I would have been like, oh, it's directed at me. It has to be. I don't even want to deal with it. Or I would have went off and said, you know what, go yourself and your mom too. Like, I could have done that. I've done that to other people. I've blocked Cannon. I don't care. I don't want to be around him. He was bothering me and was obsessively like commenting on stuff out of nowhere. And it's like, maybe he's keeping an eye on me and maybe he has better intentions, but I'm just like, I don't have the emotional like strength to be able to deal with that. So I just blocked him. It's easier for me. I'm a lot happier. And the same thing with like all the Tomahawk Kid stuff. I blocked that chick. Actually, you know what? She blocked me and then talked about it. So I don't know. But it's like, I don't have it. I don't have the time to argue about that stuff. I'm happy. I wake up and I'm like, hell yeah, it's a new day. Literally. Seriously. It's like, it's another day. I'm so grateful for my life because I know what it's like to see my kid wake up and smile. At 37, I look pretty good though, don't I? not a lot of filters on this, but I could get my jollies all up in a bunch, and I could be offended, and maybe I should be, but it would have drawn more negative attention, and maybe potentially would have lost me a booking or two, or maybe it would have got me another booking. Maybe I should go on there right now and say, hey, you know what? Maybe if you guys helped more online, that would be better off. Because what's the difference between my channel and Dave Knows Wrestling's channel? Dave's never bumped in a ring. He's watched wrestling. He knows a lot about watching wrestling, that's for sure. But guess what? He has more followers than the person who made that post. But he, but the person who made the comment has made more money wrestling than they have. But Dave is making income from views from his. You get a certain amount of money, right? It's called a CPM, click per thousand, and you make 3 cents per thousand or something on YouTube once you get qualified at a certain number. If there's 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers, then you get verified, is what they essentially have it on here. And you can make money doing that. And you can make affiliate income. And you can make income on OnlyFans or Patreon or Pro Wrestling Tees. This is on Pro Wrestling Tees. Shout out to JDX. Like, I didn't buy it. He actually left it at Battleground once, and I just kept it. Do something about it, bro. But he won't care. But if you really want to know what it's like to be a pro wrestler in the 21st century, the people complaining on Facebook or Twitter and stuff like that probably aren't the right ones. And that's my opinion. They could say you're wrong. This is what it needs to be because pro wrestling doesn't evolve and we're all cavemen and like, okay, that's fine. That's cool. I'm gonna do me though. I'm gonna always do me. And speaking of me, let's get to it, huh? You guys want to do this? You want to do this right now? Bam! Native American pro wrestlers. Look at all of them. Don't they all look like Indians? They all got. Oh, look at that guy's not an Indian. He doesn't have a headdress on. Nope, can't talk to him about it being an Indian. Oh, but look, he's doing a war dance right here. That's an Indian. I know an Indian when I see one. That's an Indian. Never mind them big old eyebrow bones that we got, big old cheekbones, some dimples. People don't like my teeth, but I got dimples, bitch. So, and look at my skin. My skin looks nice. My hair looks good. I didn't even brush my hair in the last 2 days, really. Look at this. My hair's better than your girlfriend's, but no abs. Okay. Sorry, I was lean. I was 8% body fat when I was Tomahawk Kid at 180 and just no abs. But look, boom. See, don't look good in these shirts, JDX. What the heck, man? But like, I'm 220 right now, baby. 220. 40 pounds heavier. I might not run like I used to exactly, but I look different. I look different than everybody else. I'm not trying to be on 205 Live like everyone else. I look different. And look, they know I'm Native American because I have hair like this. But how else do you say you're Native American? Look at this dude. I'm pretty sure this ain't the right kind of Indian, guys. But I didn't even Google Indian. I Googled Native American and he came up. Either way, like they say, oh, you can't do this kind of stuff. But look, there's all these Indians right here. That's not even the same kind of Indian. That's this kind, not this kind. Like, what the hell, man? And I wanted to click on this. This is an article. It's actually the top article back here, right here, with Hawk, Kyle Hawk. Hi, babe. I'm recording live. Do you want to come sit? Okay. Okay. Well, actually, you have to come sit next to me right here on this side, babes. But I'm talking, so okay. Keep your head right about here, okay? Because we gotta protect your privates. There's Addie. You're so silly. I'm gonna keep my hand here though. And this is just basically. Hey. Oh, you want to put those on? I don't know if you'll be able to hear me talk, but we'll see. Nice. But seriously, Native Americans look like anything. I just want people to know that we're still here. We're fighting. I'm 37. She just turned 4. You know what that means? That means I'm old, bro. Look at this. Like, she even says in this article, this girl, she was booked for MAW once. She said, "Yeah, I don't want to be portrayed as a Native American, but I do feel comfortable coming to the ring with drums." Like, that don't make sense. That's being portrayed as a Native American. You got face paint on, bro. How are you not a Native American portraying a Native American? It's not wrong, but I'm just saying. Can I use face paint again, you guys? I don't want to, but I'm getting older, so 37. When you look like Sting at like 68, 57, something like that, like face paint hides a lot of them wrinkles, baby. You think Dash should wear face paint again? Yeah, me neither. Only you? Okay. If you want to support us, this is the best way to do it, you guys. This is the exclusive Tomahawk Kid shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees. I have them in tank tops. I just wear tank tops all day. Don't care. But this is the newest one. I did my... Oops.
I'm gonna squint back home.
Okay. I did an entire program on this, and I paid $50 to someone who made a design for a shirt. AC Riley applied, and I like some of his ideas actually. And there were a few other people that I don't want to mention because I don't remember their names. And even my cousin got in on it. They're like, "Yep, this is what I like." And I was like, "These are really cool designs, and this is the best one I picked." I had messaged like 40 people saying, I looked at people's pages, scrolled down their Instagrams, and was like, "Oh, I really like your Pikachu art," or "I like this art. I'm doing a contest for artists because my dad was an artist and I want to support the arts." And this is what I got from it. These shirts are awesome. And I want to do it again. But the last thing I had done before this, it took a lot of time. So I'm looking to be able to be more smart with my time. And the more shirts I sell, the more YouTube subscriptions people pay for, little stuff like that, the more I can buy. Do you want to say anything?
No.
Show them your muscles real quick. Let me see them big guns. Come on. Let me see them guns. Girl, I'll pull up mine.
I don't have no shirt.
That's okay. Show me your muscles.
No. I don't want to.
You want a bumble?
No.
Put me in the headset.
No.